What's up ADHD crew? Today's video is going to be a bit of a change in direction for me in my life. And what I mean by that is I've actually changed medications. Now if you've been following me on my channel, you'll know that I take Methylphenidate. So early on in my journey I was on about 56 milligrams of Methylphenidate. And if you've seen that video, I think it's called Concerta XL Side Effects and Other Recommendations. It's one of my first ones. I think it might be my first one actually. My opinion since then has changed on Concerta. A subscriber brought this up to me and I think it's a good point. In my older video I did say that I wasn't a fan of Concerta, and obviously in the later video I've said that I'm very pro Concerta. And the reason why is because first of all I was taking a brand called Adhd, which is like a generic Concerta. And that brand of Methylphenidate came with pretty bad side effects. I said that I had a lot of anxiety, and I did. I had a lot worse anxiety on that brand of Methylphenidate than I did with Adhd, which was the one I recently switched from. Adhd is a lot smoother, and I find that it's kind of like, it feels less of a rush when you come up on it. You know, the come up is not as intense, it's not as sharp, and I find that the Adhd compared to the Adhd was not as bad for my emotions. I felt on the first brand of Methylphenidate I was on, I was very sort of aggressive and hostile, and I'd be very prone to mood swings. So it's quite interesting to think of why that happened. Obviously there must be some kind of difference in the chemical structure of these different drugs. Even though it's meant to be the same kind of drug, Methylphenidate, obviously there was some difference there that I'm not sure what it was. Anyway, to get to the topic of this video, recently I have switched to Vyvanse, or this is actually called Elvanse Adult, and it's a British version of Vyvanse. It's 30 milligrams and it's once a day. I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video about what it does. It's just going to be a quick comparison to Concerta. Now they're both one a day, but you'll see that there's quite a difference in how they look. The Concerta is just a solid tablet form with an indentation in the centre, and the Vyvanse is more of a capsule with the amphetamine inside it. Now, the difference in how I feel. Let's get on to this bit. I will say that so far I've only been on Vyvanse for just over a week, and I've got to say I prefer it a lot. Why do I prefer it? Simply put, I think the come up is far smoother. It's much gentler. I'm not sure why, but it's just I don't get such a sharp euphoric feeling when it first kicks in. And secondly, I don't get anywhere near as much anxiety, which is fantastic. I find that Elvanse is just a little bit more forgiving, if you like. It's kind of just a smoother ride. One thing that I think is different is that when it wears off in the evening, I do find that it kind of makes me feel a little bit down in the dumps. And I don't know whether that's just me or whether it's part of Vyvanse in general. I think I've heard some people saying that it can cause a bit of a lull in the afternoon or in the evening once it starts to wear off. So you'll find that some people do take another dose of Vyvanse if they need it. As far as physical side effects, I don't have the same clenching of the jaw like I do on the Concerta. However, the first thing I notice after about an hour, cold hands, they come back every time. Just can't get away from those cold hands. But the bottom line is, I think it works just as well as Concerta. It's just as powerful, if you like. It has the same level of concentration that I can attain. And I'd say it lasts probably about the same amount of time. It's about 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours. I can't really recommend one over the other. For me personally, I think that Vyvanse is just a little smoother and I get less emotional disruption. I'm not as agitated. So yeah, for me Vyvanse is the winner. And I kind of wish that I'd started it sooner, but it's just trial and error. Now the reason why I switched over is because I have a video that I made a few weeks ago called Medication Tolerance, and I took a couple of weeks off my Concerta because it just stopped working. I mean, I was hitting the gym in the mornings and I just wouldn't get the same effect. It would just sort of take ages. It just got to a point where it felt like it only worked half as much, if that. And I thought, is it me? Am I overexerting myself? Am I taking too much caffeine? Am I not sleeping enough? I think after a while your body just metabolizes it more efficiently. And, you know, after a few years, I think, yeah, you are going to get used to it. So at this stage, I think after 3 years on Concerta, I think it's probably the wise decision to make, to try something else, because I didn't really want to go up further in dosage on Concerta, because I know from experience that higher doses make me kind of agitated. So I wanted to stay on roughly the same dosage, just a different drug, to see how it goes. I was very curious about Vyvanse, and so far it's a thumbs up. It's really good. I think it's fantastic. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the content and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.